Members of the Board of Trustees Subcommittee on Investments, please respond present when you hear your name. Chairperson Thompson.
Present.
Trustee Berger.
Present.
Trustee Kim is absent and excused. Trustee Mojica yet? Okay. Professor Benton? Nope. Professor Keating, I think I saw you.
Yeah, here.
Welcome.
Present.
I'd like to introduce a new student member, Angela Anasco is the student rep. Welcome, Angel.
Thank you.
And the student alternate is Benjamin Wade. Also, welcome to you, Benjamin. Look forward to meeting you both in person. I think we've lost Benjamin. He was here. It looks like we lost him. We'll come back to him. Okay, so we have a quorum. This public committee on this public meeting of the Committee on Investment is now called to order pursuant to the New York City Mayor's emergency travel advisory restrictions. This meeting's being held remotely via video conference with access to the public session available on the CUNY Board of Trustees website. A copy of the calendar agenda items is also available online at the CUNY Board of Trustees website. Additional items may be added during the meeting, and as a reminder, please mute so we can ensure that everyone can hear. I will now take a roll call attendance for members of the Chancellery and other invited guests. Members of the Chancellery, please respond present when you hear your name. It's a long night if I'm already reading like that. Chancellor Felix Matos Rodriguez.
Present.
Thank you. General Counsel and Senior Vice Chancellor for Legal Affairs, Derek Davis.
Present.
Great. Executive Vice Chancellor and Chief Operating Officer, Hector Batista.
Presente.
Senior Vice Chancellor and Chief Financial Officer, Sharif Solomon.
Present.
Great. Senior Vice Chancellor Doriane Gloria.
Present.
Great. Vice Chancellor James Gallo. Not here yet. Okay. Deputy Chief Financial Officer Christina Chiappa.
Present.
Great. The University Executive Treasurer Thomas Zhao. Thought he was trying to sign in. He's not there yet. Okay. Matthew Manfredi, Executive Director for University Benefits.
Present.
Great. And Dara Byrne is the COPS liaison.
Present.
Great. Hi, Dara. I also want to note that we've been joined by the faculty trustee, Professor Verzani. Welcome. I will mark you present. Thank you for joining. And then we have two invited guests, include Tim Irvin and James Duffy. And I think I saw both of you.
Good afternoon.
Okay. It's all you, Bill.
All right. Are we going into exec right away, or are we going to
Well,
go?
we'll do that at the end.
That's fine. So, all right, we have a quorum. This public committee on investment is now.
We did that. Got all that
Okay,
part.
you
So
already
you're
did
already
that.
on.
Hang
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
Thank you, Gail.
No, I'm not thanking you. So there you go.
I know I'm teasing you.
I know that.
That's where we're
Gail,
starting.
I understand. Looking for you to have a sense of humor there, Gail.
Oh, that's all right. And in the meantime, while we're joking
All
around,
right,
Trustee
let us-
Mojica has joined.
Okay, let us now turn to the item requiring a vote today. Given that all board members are participating remotely via Zoom, and we are unable to see everyone all at once, I'll announce the resolutions and ask the members to respond only if you'd like to abstain or oppose an item. Otherwise, your vote will be recorded as a yes vote. If you are voting no or abstaining, please state your name. And vote. Additionally, if you wish to second an item or have any questions, please state your name first for the record, and let's try to avoid kind of talking over each other. Action item 1A is the approval of the minutes of September 26, 2023 meeting. I'd like to move this item. May I have a second?
Berger, second.
All right. Is there any discussion on this item? Okay, we'll now move to a vote. Please only respond if you like to abstain or oppose. That item's approved. I'd now like to address section 2 of the policy calendar. Items 2A and 2B are resolutions involving the City University of New York's optional retirement program and tax-deferred annuity plan. Matt Manfredi, Executive Director for University Benefits, is here with a brief overview of these plans. Matt.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. So before I get started, I'll just give a more detailed introduction. We're joined today by Tim Irvin, who's a senior investment advisor, and James Duffy, who's a senior investment analyst with CapTrust Financial. CapTrust is an investment advisor for the retirement plans that we're going to discuss today. So just give me a moment. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. And so the purpose of today's presentation is just give a very brief high-level overview of some of the retirement plans. As part of a comprehensive benefit offering, CUNY sponsors the Optional Retirement Program, or the ORP, and the Tax Deferred Annuity Plan, or the TDA plan. So both of these are retirement plans that are administered through TIA. Both of these plans are considered defined contribution and participant-directed retirement plans. This means that each participating employee has their own retirement account into which contributions are deposited, and then they can decide how to invest their assets from the menu of investment choices that are offered by the plan. And then just legally, both the ORP and the TDA are defined under the Internal Revenue Code and under ERISA, or the Employee Retirement Income Security Act, as governmental plans and are exempt from ERISA regulations. But we do use ERISA as a best practice so that we're complying as we go along in the administration of the plan. So I just want to give a brief description of the ORP. The ORP is established under New York State education law, and it's a qualified plan under the IRS code, and it's a 401A plan. It's available to full-time members of the instructional staff, including ECPs and classified managerial employees, provided that the employee elect to participate in this plan in the first 30 days of their initial employment. If employees do not elect to participate in the ORP, they're automatically enrolled in New York City TRS defined benefit plan. The plan is funded by both pre-tax employee contributions and employer contributions. And then the amount that is received is dependent on which tier the employee is in, and some other factors like how long they've worked with CUNY. The first ORP was established in 1965, and it was established as a 403B plan under the code. In 1990, that plan was frozen to new contributions, and the current ORP as a 401A was established. And then currently, the ORP has in excess of 4.8 billion in assets, and the frozen ORP still has in excess of 1.8 billion in assets. And so for the TDA plan, this is a 403B plan under the IRS code. Participation in the TDA is voluntary and is usually elected to supplement your retirement income from the ORP, but you do not need to be a participant in the ORP to participate in the TDA. And we do have a lot of our employees who are in NYSERS or TRS who choose to enroll in the TDA with TIA as a way to supplement their retirement income. Plan is funded through elective employee deferrals, and these contributions can be made on a pre-tax or post-tax basis, and they can be made by a percentage of the employee's choosing, and they can contribute up to the maximum of what the IRS allows every year. And currently, the TDA has assets in excess of $2.8 billion. So a little bit about the investment selection. As I mentioned before, the ORP and the TDA plan are participant-directed plans. So when an employee enrolls, they have an individual account set up in their plan that collects all of their individual contributions. The participants can then choose how to invest it from the menu of investment choices offered by the individual plan. And as part of due diligence in operating this plan and reviewing the array of investment options offered, CUNY has retained the services of CapTrust Financial. That's an investment advisor for the ORP and the TDA plan. And so in that role, CapTrust provides guidance and advisement in the investment options, as well as going through current industry best practices, reviews of fees associated with operating the plan and with the specific investments. And for the next slide, we're going to talk a little bit about the due diligence. And for that, I'm going to turn it over to Tim Irvin to go through this and CapTrust's processes. Tim?
Thanks, Matt. I'm going to quickly turn to James Duffy. I just want to give a little bit of insight as to CapTrust. So as Matt mentioned, we serve as your co-fiduciary in evaluation of all aspects of the plan. And so when we meet with the committee, we're looking at areas such as plan design, compliance and governance, service and fee negotiation, and of course, investment oversight. And a lot of coming into play here, as Matt alluded to before, is total plan size. So making sure that you have services and or fees that are in line with the plan that's coming up on approximately $10 billion in assets. The other thing I just wanted to highlight before I turn to James to talk a little bit about our investment review process is that, again, these are participant-directed plans. So what that means is that we don't have discretion to decide where the participants are investing their money. And so your responsibility is not to make sure participants are invested appropriately. We try to provide as much education as possible in conjunction with TIA, but moreover, to make sure that you have an investment lineup that spans the risk return spectrum and that all of those individual investments are appropriate. So we do that with the committee on a quarterly basis, again, evaluating all the investments in the plan and determining if they should be still remain in the plan, if they should go on watch status, or if they should be replaced. So to dive into that a little bit deeper, James, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Tim. Good afternoon, everyone. So for our investment review process, essentially broken down into both a quantitative and qualitative review for each different investment option within the plan. Typically, we focus on the 3- and 5-year timeframes during our quarterly discussions, but overall, our investment team looks at the entire performance history of each of these individual funds, which, as Tim mentioned, really tries to span the entire spectrum of both risk and return. So we're looking at multiple different types of asset classes, traditional fixed income, equities, non-US equities, et cetera, as well as multi-asset portfolios, predominantly target date funds. And the review process varies for each of these different types of investments. But primarily, we're taking a look at different risk and return metrics relative to both a stated benchmark for each individual investment, as well as versus a peer group of similarly managed investment options. And we also take a look at different qualitative factors, which we review from our analyst investment team that are meeting with the actual portfolio managers for these individual funds, again, on a quarterly basis. So we're always apprised with any type of positioning or future expectations for performance for each of these options. So it's both a retrospective and forward-looking review process.
Thank you, James. So that's our presentation, but we're here for any questions that you may have on this or the resolutions that are coming up. Thank you very much.
Any questions? Anybody, any questions? All right. I guess we're going to move into these resos. So item 2A is a resolution to amend certain investment options in the City University of New York option retirement program and tax-deferred annuity plan. As part of the review process, the investment funds within the university plans, the university has been advised by its investment advisor, CapTrust, to substitute Lord Abbett High Yield RS with the mainstay Mackay High Yield RS fund in all of its plans. This change is in accordance with the guidelines established under the investment policy statement. The university is requesting authorization from the Board of Trustees for the Senior Vice Chancellor for University Human Resources and Labor Relations to make necessary amendments to the investment options available in the optional retirement plan and tax-deferred annuity plan. This amendment will eliminate Lord Abbett High Yield as an optional investment for new contributions by plan participants and direct future contributions to mainstay Mackay High Yield. As per New York Education Law, Section 6251, all investments made available under the ORP will be provided through annuity contracts. I'd like to move this item. May I have a second?
Berger, second.
Is there any discussion on the item? Any questions, anybody? All right, we'll now vote. Please only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose. All right, that item's been approved. Item 2B is a resolution to authorize an increase to the investment advisor services with Cap Financial Partners LLC, DBA Cap Trust. The Board of Trustees established an investment policy statement in 2014, establishing, among other things, guidelines for the university's management of the City University of New York Optional Retirement Program and the City University of New York Tax Deferred Annuity Plan. On February 15th, 2023, on that meeting, the Board of Trustees authorized a 5-year contract with Cap Trust, effective April 11th, 2023 through April 10th, 2028, to provide investment advisement to the plans. As part of Cap Trust's contract with the university, Cap Trust offers an optional service in which they create an environmental, social, and governance (ESG) due diligence report, which provides fund level and aggregate investment analysis and qualitative commentary, regulatory and legislative updates, and identifies material ESG risks found in investment offerings. The City University of New York is seeking approval to amend the contract with Cap Trust to prepare an ESG due diligence report on an annual basis for the remainder of the contract period, and to permit the plans to make expenditures to Cap Trust under this contract in an amount not to exceed $100,000 over the 5-year term. I'd like to move this item. May I have a second?
Berger, second.
Any discussion on the item?
Is this report made available to all the participants in the plan so they have the information that the report generates?
It's not. It's really the report is really to look at the plan as a whole, and to see the different options that are available and to kind of do a self-assessment as to what is there. For participants who are interested in it, we just want to make sure that there are options available for that. So that's really the focus of this report.
How do the participants know what options are available if they don't see the report?
So TIA participants can always go to the account and the information that's provided by TIA that will have all of the different investment options that are there.
But does that report have an ESG evaluation?
It does not. It does not. Usually people are looking, with the exception of some of the reports, some of the investments that are specifically labeled. For instance, I think CREF Social Choice is one that is an ESG fund, so that then they can see that this is an ESG fund if they want to invest in it.
Okay. But what's the benefit to us to get this report
Yeah.
if the participants can't see it? Why are we spending $100,000?
So the $100,000 is for the report to be produced annually. And I think
Where does the report go to?
so the report goes to the retirement committee that reviews all of the investments on a quarterly basis to make sure that we really want to make sure that we're offering an array of investments that includes these types of things. I can also include Tim Irvin if he wants to give a little bit, because he usually presents this report, and if he would like to comment on it.
Yeah, happy to, Matt. So this has been a topic of discussion with the Department of Labor, and I think something we'll continue to talk about is looking at your investment lineup, not only in the criteria of risk, performance, and fees, but somewhat of, I would call a tiebreaker, looking at ESG metrics to understand how those factors are playing into your investment selection. I would indicate that you are ahead of the curve in many ways in doing this evaluation and kind of setting this annual framework for understanding ESG and how they play into the investment lineup. But I think we'll continue to see plan sponsors add this into their overview. I would also say, I don't know if James, if you want to give any background on the investment selection, the year we actually implemented this, you immediately used ESG metrics as a tiebreaker. So we had a similar fund replacement, Lazard Emerging Markets, and we did a comparative analysis. The two funds that we were comparing ended up being pretty similar in nature. And so we selected the investment that had I would say, superior ESG criteria relative to the alternative. So you have actually began to work this into your framework already.
So it comes back to the board that provides oversight on what, what plans are within or which firms are within the plan and which are not, to be able to make evaluation and recommendations. That's fine. It would be helpful. Also, I think we'd love to take a look at that. So if you bring it, I think it makes sense to bring it back to the investment committee also.
I would be more than happy to do that.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, this item has been moved and seconded. Any other discussion on the item? Okay, we'll now vote. Please only respond if you'd like to abstain or oppose. That item's approved. So we're going to move into executive session at this point. So we're going to move out.
Yeah, there's a separate number, and I just want to note that Kevin Kim, Trustee Kim, arrived, so he will be noted as present for the vote.
Okay, so we're going to move. So we will adjourn this meeting. We'll come back in public session before we adjourn in the end. But then again, we're going to move into executive session right now. I mean, it is in accordance with Section 105H of the New York State Open Meeting Law. We'll be convening executive session to discuss matters pertaining to proposed acquisition of securities or sale of exchange of securities. And to move into executive session, I'm making that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Those in favor, or basically any opposed or abstentions? Fine, we are moving to executive session. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll see you.